Hey guys, my name is Blaze and welcome back to a follow-up video for Code Bytes. This is a follow-up video for my tutorial on melee attacks, which I uploaded yesterday. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that. But this is like a quick rewrite of it, and we're actually going to do something new. We're going to add a little extra to our code, our attacking code. And what I actually wanted to add in was something like attack range. So you're not always dealing the same amount of damage each time. Things are kind of randomized. And hopefully with this tutorial, it opens up new ways for you guys to implement different types of randomized values within within a certain ranges. So what I've actually done is I've taken the melee tutorial and I've rewritten parts of it in the actual tutorials project that I had. So if you guys did watch that tutorial from yesterday, then this one is kind of like that but neater. If you remember, I had a lot of problems with that video. So if you guys want to watch that one is actually more about writing up the actual melee code. This one is specifically just to catch up and to show you guys that there are a few ways that you can change it and make it a little bit neater. So the actual major changes, I'm actually leading up to doing an XP and level up tutorial video. Those are sprites. And so I started to define different types of mortals. So friendly, whether you can actually hurt them or not. Neutral, so you can hurt them, but they'll probably do something different. And hostile, so they will attack you on sight. So we've got mortal types, actual types of mortals, and we're going to keep track of who hit who. Because when it comes to dealing damage, you don't want to be able to hit your allies, but at the same time you don't want the enemies to be hurting each other either. Or maybe you do, I don't know, I'm not building your game. So this is kind of a way to track it. And then finally we have XP in, which kind of works like damage in, but obviously we're going to do something different with that. Not in this video though. So to the guy that made the request for me to do leveling up and XP, that's coming up because you made that request first, and so that's coming up probably next week. Actually, I should have it done by next week. But in this case, we're just going to make our attack and defense ratings just a little bit more interesting. Unfortunately, I haven't tested it yet, so it'll be kind of fun to see if this will work or not. But everything from the previous tutorial video on melee attacks, it's all here. The only changes that I have actually made are in the calculate damage script, and you can pause this video to have a look at the changes I've made. And the state empty. So let me quickly explain that, and then I'll get into the actual content here that I'm supposed to be doing for you guys. So here in this RPG calculate damage, I'm only taking into account the damage in. That's because we're reading the defense value of the actual object directly. We're not really taking anything else into account. And then we have a return amount. Now, in the previous one, we just said health minus equals amount, but here you can see that I'm telling it to return an amount. Let me explain how that works. So what we're doing in this case is we're taking our damage in minus defense value, and we're getting the floor value of that. What this floor function does is it returns, you see where I'm going with this? It will return what that value is. So if we have, say, a decimal value, which is probably what's going to happen today, if we have a decimal value for that damage in minus defense value, that floor function will actually return the whole number of the amount. Okay, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So we're taking this and then we're doing that, essentially. So it will return either 0 or it will return whatever this value comes out to be. in the state empty, that's where we'll actually do, this is where most of the change is actually. But here we have current health, so we're going to store the amount of health that we have before we do any calculations with it. And then we're going to reset the image just to be safe. And then we're going to calculate damage, and if it does come out to actually be less than what it was at the start, then we're going to go into the state hurt. I've actually made a mistake, and that image index should actually be at the bottom here. So we're actually only going to change our state if the value is, if we're actually taking damage. So that's what it should look like, not how I had it before. So have a look at that. And if you have questions, then you can ask in the comments section below. Hopefully you guys do understand everything. And if not, then tell me anyway, so I can get some feedback from you guys. And so let's play the game. Okay. Really, I'll show you guys. So here's our player here. This guy in the middle. And these are all our enemies. And if I hover my mouse over that, then it's just going to tell us what stats they have. So the player stats are HP 5, attack 6, defense 6. Simple. Down here, we're going to go down to this guy. His attack is 6, defense is 6, HP 5. Now, if our attack is 6 and their defense is 6, nothing should happen. And nothing did happen. If we go over to this guy here, his defense is 4, our attack is 6, HP 3, should do 2 damage. Let's do that. There you go. So 3 minus 2 is 1. And if they die, they die. Simple as that. Now, if you were paying attention to the whole screen, you would have seen the numbers down the bottom. Let me just play that again. This time, have a look at the compile form, which is at the bottom of the screen there. If I press space, it will tell us how much damage we are dealing. So what our hitbox's damage value is. And that's because, oh, wrong script. That's because here we're actually telling it to just print out the damage. But the whole point of this video is to actually give you guys a random, not random, but attack range. So what we're actually going to do, let me just figure this out, because I haven't tested it. So this will be interesting to see if it will work or not. Let's try multiplying it by, we'll go random range. And what random range does is it takes 2 values. So if we go inside here, if we look down here at the guide, it will take 2 values and it will give us any number between those two. All right, so it will return a number between, let's say 0.7, so 70% of our attack value, and let's say 1.2, so 120% of our current attack value, or an extra 20% on top. So 0.7, that would be like 4.2 or something like that. And so, well, let's try it actually. Save that out. Let's play. So now our hitbox damage should not be 6 every single time we press shift. So I pressed it once, and there you go. Whoops, see, I accidentally clicked out. We have, let's scroll up, we had 4.76, 5.5, 4.89, 6.26, and 4.21. So there you go, we have, you know, some range of attack. Now, the benefit of that is that now the game has become just a little bit more challenging, right? So you can have a much more interesting game now. So we have defense of 4, and our attack is still 6. But remember, our defense, our attack, our actual damage that we're going to deal is going to be different. It's going to change. And there we go. We did about 6 damage, 6.14 damage, and that gave us that left our enemy with just 1 HP. Here we go. This one should be interesting. Our attack is 6 and their defense is 6. Let's see if we can actually deal some damage to this guy. And we did. We did 7.1 damage. Something that I need to let you guys know is when you press the button, if you're following my melee tutorial method, then that first value there is the actual amount that you're going to deal. Everything else is no, that just gets dropped completely. So it's that first value that gets passed into the enemy. Not sure why it prints it out with this many times, but I do have a feeling that the object itself has actually been created that number of times. So I will look into that. Hopefully I'm wrong, and we can go from there. But that's it, guys. If you guys want to add in other factors like maybe weapon skill and I don't know, maybe like proficiency with how you calculate this range, then you can do that. You can change these values to be those variables that you create. This is just like an entry-level, beginner-friendly way of doing it. I've been talking for about 10 minutes now, so I want to wrap this video up. But attack value isn't just the only thing that you can do. You can actually do that with when you're calculating damage as well. So if you want to say with defense value, you can multiply that too using the same method. So if we go into state attack and we take this and we copy that over, that will work as well. The only thing that you have to be aware of is the percentages. So if you're being too unfair when it comes to taking damage for the player, or whether you're being too lenient with dealing damage to enemies, you just need to make those extra tweaks. And that's where things like weapon proficiencies and weapon skills, just like in World of Warcraft and other RPG games, these come in handy. So I'm actually this is kind of like a lead up to the leveling up and XP tutorial video that should be finished by next week. And hopefully you guys learned something. Remember, if you have any questions, then you can ask them in the section below. I'll do my best to help you out. If you guys get errors, then you can show me too, and I'll help you out with that. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you guys can learn more stuff and keep up to date with all the videos that I upload. But for now, that's it for me. I'll see you guys later. Bye.